Hi, this is Erica Brewer with Sound Advice Careers. I'm going to walk you through a sample before and after of a resume for a job seeker whom our team recently helped to land a new role. After viewing this transformation, you're going to know what a successful resume update can and should look like. And you're also going to be able to spot costly mistakes that many job seekers make on their own resumes without even knowing it. I'm going to hop over to Microsoft Word so that we can review this job seeker's original resume. And as you'll see, we're using the name Charlie Brown just to protect this job seeker's privacy, but to give you a sense of Charlie's background and career path and goals. When he came to us, he'd been in project management for a while and was looking to transition into specifically project management in the software space. He was taking some remote distant learning courses on how to become a software developer himself, and based on his background, he already had a lot of the skills required for a job. It was simply that he needed a resume that focused on bridging what he'd done in the past with his learning and his academic studies in relation to where he was headed next. So zooming out here just a little bit, as you can see, Charlie's resume looks a lot like the resumes we see here at Sound Advice when folks first come to us. It's been built with a template. The information is fairly well organized, but there are several areas of opportunity here that we help Charlie with. First and foremost would be the amount of content on his original resume. In Charlie's case, he's fit roughly a decade of experience to a single page, but with the way he's laid things out here and the level of detail he's provided, he risks looking like an entry-level candidate, even though his job titles tell us a different story. The other issue with the lack of content here is that this resume is not keyword-rich, and the average applicant tracking system, which is the technology that would be scanning this resume during the hiring process, that applicant tracking system is going to look for a word count of at least 1,200 words, and it's possible that this resume would be downranked within that system. What we are getting with the content that Charlie's provided here is more a high-level outline of what he's done in each role, somewhat of a reverse job description, if you will. We're not getting information about how Charlie created change and value for each company, and those are the details that are going to set him apart from everyone else in the pool of anywhere from 50 to 500 other candidates he'll find himself within. The other blind spot or gotcha within this format or template is going to be over here on the right hand side. You can see how this has been formatted into a column. This template utilizes a design feature in Microsoft Word called a text box, and quite often applicant tracking systems cannot read or properly parse information presented with text boxes. So this information could appear garbled or blank depending on the system, and the overall layout may lead to parsing issues when this information is pulled into the applicant tracking system. The other area of opportunity we identified within Charlie's original resume was that there was next to no positioning. We would have to read this document in its entirety to get a sense of where he'd been and where he might fit at a company. And even then, after reviewing the entire resume, there's no clear value proposition in terms of his fit for a software project management role. And last but not least, Charlie articulated the concern that he found this resume difficult to customize, and a lot of job seekers report this. They're having to go through the body content of their resume and make line-by-line additions and tweaks, and ideally a resume would be designed so that it could be customized in maybe 5 to 10 minutes tops, using some key sections that are easy to access and easy to change based on the position that you're applying for. That sums up Charlie's original resume. Let's hop over to the resume our team helped him to create. We did all the heavy lifting. We followed our proven methodology, and it's the resume that helped him land his dream job. So zooming out just a little bit here, in addition to the higher level of content, which I'll get to in a second, one of the first things that you're going to notice is the change in design or format of this resume. It's been formatted for the applicant tracking system with an extremely simple hierarchy of information, clearly defined sections. The sections are labeled in terms that the applicant tracking system will know and easily be able to parse. The other great thing about this layout is that it's extremely easy for human eyes to digest at a glance. We've all heard about that initial 20-second or 30-second skim, but with that skim, the average recruiter or hiring manager is going to be able to gain the essential details necessary to pass him on into the next step of the hiring process, typically the short list. Jumping back to what I mentioned earlier, Charlie's original resume had a word count of around 500 words. Again, he'd be at risk of getting downranked in the typical applicant tracking system. And this new resume, as you can see, has a much higher word count. There's a lot of content-rich, keyword-rich information here. And I believe the word count on this one's somewhere around 1,200 words, which is perfect for the typical applicant tracking system. I want to take a second to point out, too, part of the benefit of having that additional content is absolutely appeasing the applicant tracking system. But the other side of that, and it speaks to the human side of the hiring process, he's able to tell a full story about his value and his background. And even zooming in up top here, we've incorporated a new element. This is known as a resume summary, a career summary. Some people might refer to it as a positioning statement. But with this additional content, and specifically this top piece, we get a sense of everything to follow without having to read the entire document. And he's also done now a great job in articulating his USP, or unique selling proposition, with this additional resume content right here up top. Moving down further into the body of the resume, you'll notice that we've used a lot of metrics. We've explained a lot of points of significance, not just in terms of what he did, but why it was important from role to role. And again, this is one of those differentiators. We'd never want this resume to look like a reverse job description. Most of that information can be inferred by your job title, but what's going to set you apart as a candidate really are these moments of change, value, enhancements that you've delivered throughout the course of your career. And by working one-on-one with one of our writers, going through our methodology, we were able to do that heavy lifting for Charlie in terms of extracting those details, helping him take the rust off the wheels and think through what he's done throughout his career. And last but not least, we've built in some sections that will make this incredibly easy for Charlie to customize as he applies to different positions. Here on the second page, that would be the technical skills section. Quite often, folks in his shoes will see things in the job description that maybe they've forgotten to list, or they're areas where they're studying up and they just haven't listed it on the resume yet. He can pop those keywords in easily here in the skills section. He can also keep this up to date in terms of the different training he's completed. These are items that didn't appear on his original resume, and this becomes a living document. He's not beholden to a one-page design or the restrictions of a template. He can add sections to this, he can add new trainings to this, and make easy adjustments on his own without having the ongoing assistance or cost of a resume writer. Just pulling things up top here. The summary section and the skills section that you see are also elements that we build in so that this resume can easily be customized. With these sections, Charlie was able to customize his resume, again, in that 10-minute window that I mentioned earlier, and apply for different roles as he saw fit. That's it for this before and after transformation. If you have any questions after viewing this video, please contact us to set up a conversation or email us with your questions. We can talk you through your unique situation as well as any discounts or promotions that we're running on our current packages.